Today we're talking with composer David T. Little. David is best known for his operatic works, which often deal with political topics. Recent operas of his include Soldier Songs and Dog Days. David also writes instrumental music, and his percussion quartet Speak Softly is being performed by Sandbox Percussion at Kettle New Music's upcoming concert on September 13th. I'm here today with composer David T. Little. David, thank you so much for having us here.
Absolutely. Thanks for coming. I have the kettle corn.
So, the first question, one of the most important questions that we ask all of our guests, is how do you take your kettle corn? Or how do you take your popcorn?
How do I take? Well, I'm not really a kettle corn guy.
It's okay. Do you like salty popcorn?
Kind of the salty. Yeah, just kind of normal, like butter salt.
Butter.
Yeah.
Cool.
But it's not a big part of my world.
Oh, okay.
Generally, but you know.
I'm here ready to talk about like herbs.
Oh no, it's just kind of just like the normal, when it's happening, it's just kind of.
So do you like pick up popcorn at the movies or?
That would be probably the place it would happen. Yeah.
So what are you working on right now?
Right now, I am working on an opera called JFK for Fort Worth Opera and American Lyric Theater, and I'm very happy with it, but I'm not done with it yet. So I'm in that space of like, well, I can't really be happy with it because I'm not done with it. It's still there's still a lot of music to write. So the piece deals with the night before the assassination. It takes place all in Fort Worth, in the hotel where the Kennedys were staying, which was at the time known as the Hotel Texas. It's now a Hilton Fort Worth or something. And we got to go down there. We got to go to the hotel. We got to see all the sights. We got to meet people who were there, who were at this breakfast speech, which was the last speech that Kennedy gave. What's interesting is that we know when they arrived, and we know when he gave the speech. We know when they departed. We know that the room was decorated with privately owned artworks from Fort Worth residents. So there were, and we were talking like Picasso's and Van Gogh's,
wow.
But then we don't know what happened at all between, say, midnight and 6 a.m. So that gives us an interesting opportunity to sort of play and invent and imagine, knowing all the things that the Kennedys had been going through and the loss of their son Patrick and things that had been happening in their marriage and things that had been happening politically, and to kind of put that all together into something interesting. So
this opera has a political theme, or at least topic.
Kind of. It deals with political figures.
Yeah. It's
not really about. I mean, it's interesting. In the last couple of years, I definitely started out really interested in music and politics, and I still really am, and I've written a lot about it, and a lot of my pieces are, I would say, are political pieces in some ways. Starting around Am I Born, Dog Days, and so maybe about 2 years ago, I got really interested in extending that into an existential area. And so with JFK, it is kind of that same thing. There are these political figures, and so therefore it does certainly intersect with, Nikita Khrushchev is a character who sings an aria, Lyndon Johnson is a character who sings an aria. You have this whole chorus of Texas politicians who are involved, and you have the president of the United States. But it's not really about the politics. It is about the sort of existential level of just really, it's just about them as human beings,
right? Yeah, which almost brings it back to like the Shakespearean tragedy, taking the story of a great king as the launching pad, but not really.
Well, I have my Macbeth mug here, so I dig the Shakespearean tragedies for sure, and and it's about the frailty of these characters, these individuals, despite being kings.
But so you also have a lot of pieces that explore political topics a little bit more, directly. And I'm curious, what do you think is the purpose of political music? Like, what do you get at when you write a political piece?
So the question of political music is interesting, and it's something I've thought about for a long time. And I wrote my dissertation on the topic, and I wrote the dissertation because I had a lot of questions that came up as I was trying to write political work that I couldn't answer just through writing the work. So I got into theory and all that stuff. And for me, and this is just for me, and a lot of people might disagree, but I think for me the writing a work that could be considered political is really about bearing witness to something. If you look back through my catalog, there are pieces that deal with it in different ways. So the piece I wrote for Todd Reynolds, "And the Sky Was Still There," is kind of a documentary in some ways, and it uses the voice of someone who, and it's telling that person's story. Soldier Songs is similar. It's really about creating a place where these individuals can tell their stories. A piece like "Speak Softly," which is on the Kettle show, in a way, it's not very deeply political. It's called "Speak Softly" for four percussionists playing sticks of varying bigness. It's meant to be kind of silly in a certain way, and it's Roosevelt's foreign policy. Speak softly and carry a big stick, and it's for four percussionists playing big wooden rods. The piece was originally written for a site-specific dance piece called "Red Trail to Open Field," which was done, I think, in 2003. Well, the piece is really about, at the start, about the sort of just overlapping, 5/8, 7/8, 4/4, just overlaying meters and creating interesting patterns that result. And in the original version, that's sort of where it stopped. We kind of did that for a while and then kind of rocked down on it, and then we kind of had, there was a cue or something, and we would stop and then move on to the next thing. So it's much less rigidly structured. And then I had this chance to write a percussion quartet and said, well, that was cool material. So then I actually went in and composed it, and that's when the title came about.
All right, well, thank you, David, so much for having us
Yeah,
here.
totally.
It's great to talk.
Thanks for coming. Look forward to the show.